Oi, you're tuned in to Jai That Aussie Metal Guy, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his sick content. And remember, stay brutal, you legend.
G'day, legends. It is Jai, that Aussie Metal Guy, here with Crannk.com. So tonight, wherever you are in the world, it's an absolute pleasure that I'm getting a chat with none other than the insanely talented shredder, Courtney Cox from the Iron Maidens, to now with the Burning Witches from 2023, with a blistering catalogue of heavy metal anthems and a fierce live energy. Burning Witches are finally bringing their spellbinding stage show to Australia for the very first time. We're getting a chat with Courtney about it all. Courtney, thank you so very much for joining me, mate.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, we're here in El Salvador at the moment, getting ready for sound check.
That's what I was going to say. Like, how's all that going? You're over there in Central America at the moment. You're about to come over to Australia. You guys must be fairly worn out from the road, but also very excited about getting down under for the first ever Australian tour.
Yeah, we've been on the road since, God, when did we start? We started in Brazil on May 3rd. And then we're finished with El Salvador and one show in Mexico left of the run so far. And then, yeah, right to the land of Down Under, or whatever they say. So, yeah, hopefully the flight won't be too bad because we've literally had a flight every day on this tour. So we're just kind of used to being at the airport. So I'm not scared. I mean, I've went through that flight before, so I'm not scared of the how many hour, but 17 hours, 18 hours.
Yeah,
it's fine.
That's fine. Yeah, I've done it as well. It's weird coming back from Australia, going back over to the US because we're ahead, and it just felt like I had this 35-hour odd day, and by the end of it, I was totally like eyes rolling in the head. That's probably a little bit hard to get your head around as well, but you've been over here before anyway, so you're kind of used to it, yeah?
Yeah, I'm not worried. Like I said, they have a bar on the plane. I'll be all right.
Fine, that's it. We have been waiting a long time for this. What can Aussie fans expect from this show? Are you guys going to play a nice mix of the THUR with some of the fan favourites? How's this show going to look?
Yeah, we got a little bit of everything, the songs you expect. And, there's some songs that you'd be like, wow, that was a deep cut. And then, of course, some stuff off TheDarkTower, the latest release, and possibly one or two new ones from the album that I'm not really allowed to talk about yet, but yeah.
Yeah, but
this song has been released, it's out there.
I gathered you were working towards that with the tracks Mirror Mirror, which is an absolute ripper, The Spell of the Skull. You kind of come in and join the band as the THUR was winding up. You, of course, do have tracks on that album, which are absolutely unreal. You're on Unleash the Beast, World on Fire, Tomorrow. But yeah, those couple of singles that have been dropped, tell us a little bit about those ones, because those are absolute ripping. And of course, your leads are always amazing.
It was just cool because, obviously I got to redo some of the tracks on THUR, but, I wasn't there from the start. So this was, going into the studio and Courtney being Courtney, don't have to play the trooper anymore. So, it's my time to let my playing speak for itself and not mimicking someone else. So, and then, especially me and Romana, we had the same influences. We were into the same styles, obviously, same band. So, it was coming down to the riffage and shooting ideas off of each other. It came together so fast because we're like, yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was, we're just kind of on the same page, which you don't really get much in the music business. Usually there's, a teeter-totter or there's some ego stuff going on, but not with this band. We just started pumping out, turning out these songs, and before we knew it, the record was done. And now now it's the waiting game, which is the most painful thing because we know what we have and we can't say anything about it.
I know that's the hardest bit as a musician, isn't it? Making this albums, and then you got to kind of sit on it and hold it for like a year or so before you can actually do the release thing for it as well.
Yeah.
And also, you guys have an amazing chemistry on stage. I've been enjoying watching the live footage of the Wacken and everything else since you've joined the band. You did kind of touch on the chemistry, but what's that been like, the dynamic with you all working together?
I don't know. We didn't have to discuss anything. Like we just do what we do. And, like I said, now it feels like I've been there from the start. We get along so well, and the stage chemistry. it's just natural. I don't know any other way to.
And it must be quite liberating for you as a guitarist, because your time with the Iron Maidens was unreal. But to be able to create music of your own and put your stamp on it, people have always known you as an amazing guitarist. But for you to kind of come into the Burning Witches and you finally put your stamp on this and start creating music of your own, it must be quite a liberating and freeing feeling as well. And two different chapters of your life too.
Yeah, I was in the other band 14 years. I was like, wow.
Yep.
Looking back now, time moves so fast, but it was definitely my time. And then I've been working on like my own original stuff behind the scenes when I was well, but there was no time really. I'm still trying to finish it now on tour. But yeah, I just love it. It's just so freeing, and finally get to be able to be myself and not Adrian Smith, because I'm not Adrian Smith. Obviously.
Mate, you're pretty bloody close. Touring life can be hectic, and you are talking about it right now. You're over in Central America, coming over to Australia. Any rituals or routines you kind of stick to on the road to kind of keep yourself grounded with all of this?
Yeah, definitely now. Back in the day, no, I was just full on all the time. But now, as I've gotten older, and I've started to realize that coffee and sleep are my best friends.
Yep.
It all comes down to just being the healthiest you can be, because like I said, I don't bounce back as fast as I did back when I was 21, But yeah, just eat well, don't go down streets you don't know, that kind of basically anything your mom would tell you, like when you're in school. Yeah, it's pretty much torque. Don't talk to strangers, don't take candy out of a van.
Watch out for dodgy meat pies, and don't let the Aussies stitch you up on Vegemite toast when you get over here as well.
Well, see, I'm a Marmite fan, so.
Hey, there you go. I don't mind the old Marmite either. That's the UK version as well, which isn't too bad as well. For the gear nerds, what gear are you using on the road at the moment?
Pretty simple. I'm running the new Friedman IRJ red pedal that just came up, which is a beast. And then I just have that connected with the pedals that I've been using my entire career, which is like a Boss DD3 delay, Boss Chorus CH4. And then I have a Busta Grande boost pedal, tuner, and that's it. And I'm running the IRJ just into the return of whatever head they provide me show to show. So it's simple. Don't have to worry about anything. Just power. That's it. Different outlets.
That's it. You've had an amazing career so far, and so many years yet ahead of you. Is there any defining moment kind of early in your career when you're like, look, this is what I'm born to do. This is what I'm going to do for this is it.
I guess it was probably my first tour, my first or second tour. It was when I was touring with this like CROXTON thing, and I got to tour with John Anderson through one tour. And then the other tour was Adrian Blue, King Crimson. And I think that's when I started to know, even though it wasn't my cup of tea, music-wise, it taught me a lot about the business and stuff. And I just realized I just loved being on the road, meeting new faces every night. And I mean, there is some bullshit too you have to go through. But I mean, what career doesn't have that, Like if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So you just kind of have to stick it out. But yeah, no, I just love being on stage. I guess I would know, or I knew. So when I first picked up guitar, it came so naturally to me. Like I didn't, I pretty much taught myself just by listening along to my favorite records. And within 2 years, I was on the road touring. So I just knew something was there. Like, why is this so easy for me,
And, and I do got to ask, I mean, you're definitely someone who's inspired a lot of young musicians, especially women. And I did chat to Morgan from Kitty about this as well. What advice would you kind of give to those kind of trying to break into the scene today?
For me, stop viewing yourself as a female guitarist, female musicians. Like I catch so many women artists using this as like a crutch, and like, oh, it's because of this. It's because I'm like, no, it's not. Everyone has the same struggles. So sometimes people have to work harder than others. But like, I hate when people try to blame it on gender. So I view everyone, But yeah, just stay true to yourself. You know, don't compare yourself to others. You got to hit rock bottom before you can climb the ladder. You know, don't be afraid of failure. It's just little things like that. Just do it because you love to, you know, not for someone else. You know, I know I always so many things you could say. Then when you're asked the question, it's like, huh?
Yeah, I know. I've always had a lot of respect for like bands like yourself, and not just because I'm a father of three amazing daughters and grew up in a house with just my mum and my sisters and that. For people like you, you're breaking down walls and you're still doing it. There's these stereotypes and there's these things that bands like yourself do come up against. That's why I don't use that term female fronted metal band. There's still these walls and these stereotypes that I feel like people like yourself are standing up, and you're kind of taking the stand, and bands like Kitty did it originally, broke down some walls for bands like yourselves to come through, and it still kind of agitates me a little bit as well. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, even if a situation like this is, you know, brought to our attention, I just ignore everything.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't affect my sleep. I don't care about it, and we just show up, give 110%, and that's all you can do. You put on the best show you can, and if people don't like it, they can go fuck themselves.
Damn fucking straight. That's to them, mate. And finally, with the tour coming up, big shout out to any Aussie fans and tell them why they can't miss this tour, of course.
Yeah, well, we're gonna see you soon. It's gonna be great, and can't wait to have some Vegemite and drop bears and punch a kangaroo in the face.
Damn straight. Thank you so much, Courtney Cox, Burning Witches. Massive thank you so much for hanging out with us here at Crannk.
Yeah.
If you haven't already, please, everybody, go out, grab your tickets. This has to be sold out. This debut Australian tour is one you do not want to miss. Heavy riffs, high energy, and true heavy metal power coming your way next bloody week. Thank you so much for joining me, mate.
Thank you. See you soon.
Oi, you're tuned in to Jai That Aussie Metal Guy, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his sick content. And remember, stay brutal, you legend.